Everyone, I'm Crista Cowan. Some of you may know me as the Barefoot Genealogist from the Ancestry YouTube series by the same name. Officially, I am the corporate genealogist here at Ancestry, and in this session, we're going to be talking about making discoveries with Ancestry search. Now, hopefully by this point, you've started a family tree on Ancestry, you've maybe explored some of the hints. Once you've explored hints for a person, the next step is to search. So Ancestry has more than 30 billion records and they cover 80 countries around the world. And the hints algorithm is designed to help capture some of that low-hanging fruit where we can tell that this record is most likely for this person, where it's in a large record collection with a lot of data, like a census record or a draft card. But you will still have to search the collections in order to find additional records about a person in your family tree. So let's just talk a little bit about that, right? So once I've picked a person or a family group in my tree that I want to know more about, I explore the hints for that person and their immediate family members. So spouse, children, maybe even parents and siblings. So I kind of try to keep it within the confines of that relationship when I'm wanting to learn more about an individual in my tree. Once I've explored the hints for those family members, then I can go into in the profile page of the person, I can search directly from that page. So in the mobile app, if you're using the mobile app, it's going to be on the profile page just right here under the header and above the different tabs. When you're on a web browser, it's going to be up here in the top right-hand side of the header. That's where you're going to find the search button. Now that search button is what we call search from tree, and it takes everything you know about this person, however much or little, and it throws it at the search engine. Okay, and so it's just really an initial search or a way to get you started seeing what else comes up that might not have been shown as a hint. So let's take a look at what that actually looks like on the Ancestry website. So I just clicked search on Benjamin Franklin Heaps from my tree. And like I said, it takes everything I know about this person and throws it at the search engine. Now, in this case, because I've already processed hints, because I've already talked to my family members who remembered him, I know quite a bit. As a matter of fact, if I click the edit button there, you can see it automatically filled in his name and his birth date and place and his marriage date and place and his death date and place and all the places he lived and the names of his parents and his siblings and his spouse and his children. Do you see what's happening here? Okay, there's a whole lot of information. Now, one of the challenges is that probably one of the only places in the world where every single one of those pieces of information exist all together is in my tree. So you're going to notice that my tree is the very first thing that comes up in the search results, okay, which is fine because that's what I would expect to happen. But then what happens is the search engine has to say, okay, you just gave me 90 pieces of information. How do I find things that match most of these fields? And so what you're going to see below that then is a list of ranked search results. So these are things where the most number of fields match what you asked it to search for. Now, we do have a feature on Ancestry called smart filtering. Because I've already done a little bit of research about this person, and because I've saved some of those hints, I'm going to be able to see exactly what those records are right here in this smart filter. Here's the records I've already attached in my tree. And so because I've already attached a 1900 census, smart filtering is going to remove all 1900 census results from my search results because typically people only show up once per census. Now, there are, of course, some exceptions. And if you want to go search the 1900 census and see if he shows up more than once, go right ahead. Or just turn off smart filtering. You can click on that and it will turn it off. Same thing with birth records, death records. People usually only are born and die once. They can be married a lot of times, but they are only born and died once. So if you've already saved those records, you can remove those from that particular database from your search results with smart filtering. Now, smart filtering is a sticky feature, so if you turn it on, it stays on for every search from tree that you do. If you turn it off, it stays off until you turn it back on, regardless of how many different people you search on. So that's how smart filtering works. Then I'm just going to want to go ahead and go through these search results. You'll notice that there are some little tags that show up. Those little tags are going to tell you, oh, this record is in your hints. And so maybe I already looked at it, or maybe I didn't notice it, or maybe I already ignored it for a reason. If I viewed the record before, it'll show me a little tag that says I've already viewed this record and when I last did that. If I've already saved this record, it will show me that if I have smart filtering turned off. So my search results are really quick and easy to start to work my way through. And you'll notice I have hints to all sorts of different kinds of records. There's going to be some photos that I may or may not already have in my tree. Sometimes you may see the same photo show up twice, and that's usually because two different people uploaded the photo to their tree. And so it'll show up because the computer doesn't recognize that they're the same photo because they have two submitters. You always want to try and look for the original submitter wherever possible and just save the tree directly from them instead of uploading the photo yourself if it already exists on Ancestry. Now, that's how searching directly from your tree works. Let's look next at oh, that didn't want to click. There we go. Okay, so once you've done that search from tree, maybe you've clicked through to view some of those records. When you click through to view them, if you want to save it, it's kind of the same process as with hints. It'll show you side by side the information in your tree and the information in your record, and then allow you field by field to decide what you want to save or edit or ignore, and how you want to create that source citation. Same process as with hints. So once you've done a search from tree, then you might want to consider doing some database specific searches. So when you do a search from tree, it searches all the records on Ancestry that are indexed. But sometimes information in a record doesn't really match the information that you know for a lot of reasons. It could be because they went by a nickname, and that nickname isn't in your tree, and it is on the record. It could be because the record was listed with just their initials, and we're looking for Benjamin Franklin heaps, not BF heaps. It could be because his next door neighbor is the one who answered the census taker's questions, and he thought he was 10 years younger than he was. And so when you do a search with a birth date, we kind of give it a little bit of fuzziness, but not that much. And so that record might not have been picked up right away. So if you find that you're missing a record, right, and that means you kind of have to start to learn a little bit about what records exist in the time and place where your ancestor lived, then you can start to go through and search for some of these specifically. So we're going to use my great-great-grandfather here as an example. He was born in 1876 in Salt Lake City, and he died in 1941 in Pocatello, Idaho. So I know that he should be found in every U.S. federal census taken every 10 years of his life. The 1880 census, he should be about 4 years old. The 1900 census, the 1890 census was lost in a fire. The 1900 census, he should be in 1910, 1920, 1930. So I should have him in all 5 of those censuses. They should come up in hints. If they don't, I do a search from tree. Hopefully they come up there. If they don't, then I can go and search just the missing census and see if I can find him. And so how do I get to that missing census? Well, my favorite thing on the whole Ancestry website is the card catalog. You get to the card catalog by clicking on search up in the top menu bar of Ancestry and then going to card catalog. Now, this is just available on the web browser version. It is not available in the mobile app. So you'll want to come explore that through a browser. Let's say I was missing him in the 1900 census. I could simply just come in here and type in 1900 census, and it would pull up that US federal census. And then I can go and I can search just that one database, which is going to narrow my search in immediately, right? Not searching all the records on Ancestry. And I could just type in a little bit of information. Like I could type in his last name and just search and see How many people with that last name were even living in the country at the time? You'll notice sometimes I get things in my search results that look like at first glance that they don't match. So here, the very first search result is not somebody with the last name of Heaps, it's somebody with the last name of Dabson. But you'll notice there's a little pencil next to it. And what that means is that something in the record was likely corrected, and maybe his last name really wasn't Dabson, maybe it was Heaps. And so somebody's gone in and added a correction to that, and that's why you're seeing that in your search results. So really great way to kind of start to get familiar. Now let's say I know he was born in Utah, and so I'm going to type that in, and then I'm going to click search again and just see, I'm going to go from all the people enumerated in 1900 to a few thousand people down to 54 people. And then I can kind of work my way through that list and see if I can find him. Now, the benefit of doing it this way is oftentimes in the process, I find other family members as well without having to search too hard for them. So I strongly recommend that you use the card catalog if you are missing records that you know should exist for this person. Maybe it's a census, maybe it's a passenger list, maybe it's naturalization paperwork, maybe it's a military draft card, maybe you're looking for them in city directories. All of those are databases that you can come in and specifically search on Ancestry. The card catalog is also really great if you've searched and you're not finding something you should be able to find, to see if the record that you're looking for even exists on Ancestry. So one of the ways that I use the card catalog is I might come in here and say, I want to see all the records Ancestry has for Germany. And specifically what I'm looking for are marriage records from Germany. And this will give me a list of the marriage records for Germany. And now I can see, oh, there's not a database of all marriage records that ever existed from Germany. They're broken out by location, and then within that location by time period. And so I could then maybe come back in here and I could say, I specifically am interested in this location. And oh, look, the records only go through 1932. No wonder I'm not finding the 1947 record I was looking for. So using the card catalog helps you know if the record even exists at all on Ancestry. So that's how I do database specific searches. Hints, search from tree, database specific searches. Now I'm going to invite you to give it a try. So go into a person in your tree, start with someone that you know quite a bit about, and do a search from tree, because that's going to help you build out more information about them, strengthen the links to their family connections, so that as you start moving into the spouse or children or parents that you know less about, you have more confidence that you're identifying the right people. I'm super excited to have you give that a try. I'd also invite you to follow Ancestry on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. That's a great place to connect with the genealogy community and to ask questions of me and other Ancestry employees who monitor those channels and are able to get you the help that you need as you start on your family history journey. Until next time, I'm Crista Cowan. Have fun climbing your family tree.